News from the world of sports.
All right, we had a major trade that happened in the NFL, and I really like this trade a lot. The Buffalo Bills agreed to send the Buffalo Bills acquire DJ Moore for the Chicago Bears for a second-round pick in exchange for Moore and a 2026 fifth-round pick. All right, gentlemen. AM, you're up first, my man. Yeah, I know you heard the news on this one. What's your thoughts on this one?
You know, I've seen a number of outlets where the Bills are taking flack for this, but I love this trade for the Bills. And this is coming from a Jets fan, right? Like, there's a number of things that work out in their favor. First of all, Moore's already under contract, right? And he's actually on a pretty good contract. $27.5 million cap hit, like, over the next 4 years after the extension. You already have the Bears that paid him his $20 million bonus up front. The Bills can also convert. This is the big thing to me about this is the fact that the Bills can take this and can convert this year's salary into a bonus, spread it out. So their cap hit this year is going to come way down. They could sign other players. They could bring in who they need. DJ Moore is 29 years old. He's absolutely a number one guy. Like when you talk about the Bills, everybody was like, AJ Brown or bust. You guys got to get AJ Brown or bust, right? This is it. And it was like, well, that puts him in an terrible and an inferior position. And they were like, how about we don't go do that? Who's a guy's making $33 million a year. We just get a guy who's capped at $27.5 million a year, only 29 years old, has actually been like the number 5 receiver since 2019 in terms of yards and and receptions. Look, he doesn't have Brown's productivity around the red zone, but he's also had no one throwing to him for 5 or 6 years before Caleb Williams came along. And obviously those two guys didn't get along. I mean, DJ Moore is real. Like, I think the Bills did an amazing job. Here's the last part of this, and here's where the Bills are kind of getting killed, and then I'll turn this over. But, like, everybody's like, the second-round pick, too high, too high. Was it? Because that's actually going to be more like pick 60, number one. Number two is you got back a fifth-rounder. I think back to the Bears back in 2022. Guys, you remember when they traded for Chase Claypool at the deadline? That was November, right? That was a second-round pick, and that pick ended up being number 32 in the draft. Like, that was a terrible trade. You don't give up that kind of capital and get Chase Claypool on your team, who's making a total of $6 million, only to ship him to Miami 10 games later. Like, the Bills are going to get 2, possibly 3 good years out of DJ Moore. Good trade for the Bills.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's a couple other things that go along with this trade as well, and I do like it. I think like it was pretty even for both guys, and I like the fact you were saying the second-round pick. I forgot all about that Chase Claypool thing. That I only remember Chase Claypool never playing for anybody else. But having said that, DJ Moore also played with Joe Brady in Carolina. He also put up on a 1,500-yard season, I think it was, with Carolina in that time. The other thing I like about, not Joe Brady, but DJ Moore is that you don't hear about him besides playing football. He's not a diva guy. He keeps his nose to the grind. He plays, and that's what I think Buffalo. That's to me reminds me of the Buffalo fan base. They're going to fall in love with this guy because all he wants to do is play football and go out there and ball. And I think the other thing is too is that Buffalo was pretty damn good without DJ Moore. So now if you can have all those other guys that were filling in for one position. Now you actually do have a one there that's not a diva. That's just going to work out great for everybody else on the team. So I think this works out really good for everybody on there. And the Bears, just before we came on the air, they just made a trade for, I think it was like a 5th-round pick with the Patriots to get their center that they had. I thought they were going to use that 2nd-round pick on getting a new center because their center just retired. So I think that's where this comes in as well, is that the Bears are able to rebound off of whatever they needed. And Buffalo gets a number 1, and this year's draft, they have a lot of good wide receivers, but I'd rather have a proven guy like the Rams always seem to do. I'd rather have proven guys than guys that are going to prove it. So I think this is a great move for Buffalo, and I think they got the right guy for it because you're not going to hear any problems at the locker room out of DJ Moore.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I love the move for the Bills. I also will say I love this move because it takes one less team off of the list that's going after Mike Evans. So, it's a little win-win for me.
That's where I thought he was going to go.
Exactly. Where I was going with that is. Like, hell yeah. Mike Evans and Tampa confirmed. But
DC, do you think he stays in Tampa or do you think he goes elsewhere?
No, he stays in Tampa. He loves, I think he's too ensconced in the city, and he's basically, when he retires, Ring of Honor, a statue, everything you name it, he's getting the key to the city. Like, he's just that crucial to them. So, I mean, I was happy to hear that, but to not just make it all about the Bucs, I do think that it's a great move for Buffalo for sure. Like you said, he fits Buffalo culture. And I think that's something that a lot of times nowadays can really make or break teams is guys that aren't just talented ball players, but guys that can really fit the culture that you're building there. Hardworking, nose to the grind, tough, physical, and that's DJ Moore in a nutshell. So I think this is probably one of the best matches that you could have in this free agency period, even if it came out through a trade. So
Yeah, it's definitely good for Buffalo. I mean, Josh Allen has had a 2-year hiatus without a number one wide receiver. It's been really hell for him there. They've been running the ball with him a lot, running the ball with James Cook a lot. He led the season with rushing yards. And now adding DJ Moore is going to take a lot of pressure off of a lot of other players, and they're going to be able to open up their offense more. He's going to get to like 6 to 10 targets a game, maybe 4 to 6 to 8 catches a game. James Cook is going to be able to run the ball a little bit better, a little bit more. He's going to have more opportunity for more yardage because the offense is going to be spread out. Same thing with Josh Allen. It's going to be like, are they going to give it to DJ Moore? They're going to give it to James Cook, or might even give it to Kincaid. Who knows? It just makes their offense that much better, right? For the Bears, I think it's a great trade for them too, because at the end of the season, Burden III, he started going off. The last week, he was actually the number one fantasy receiver in that week, the points that he scored. So I think on Doomsday, Loveland, and Burden III, I think they're going to be a good trio for Chicago moving forward. And Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's a great coach, hell of a coach. He is smart. He knows what he's doing. So getting that second round pick in return, I think maybe not with the second round that they choose a receiver, but I still think in this draft they still choose a receiver because letting go of DJ Moore, he like AM was saying, the turmoil there where Caleb Williams was there from the beginning. So you let him go, ship him off. You still have a nice trio in your system, and you could try to get another pick in the draft with a wide receiver, right? The only thing for me though is Buffalo, one of you guys are gonna address your defense because that has been your Achilles heel for the last 4 to 5 years, while Josh Allen has been carrying that team throughout every single season, throughout every single playoff, and can't get to the final game because obviously there's errors that happen for sure. He makes turnovers, it happens. But if you watch all the games of all the playoffs, primarily, it's because the defense is giving up so many damn points. They need to adjust their defense. I love the fact that they got DJ Moore, but they need to do something about the secondary and that rush defense.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's going to be plenty of, because again, all they really lost was that second round pick to be able to get more. So this draft, I think, is pretty deep with a lot of great defensive players. Obviously, where they're picking in the first round is kind of towards the end, but you've got guys I think that'll still be there, like if on the edge, for example, like Messador. You've got Gabe Jacas from Illinois. I think will be good, interesting fits there. Jacas might even make it to the third round with their pick. You've got interior guys, Lee Hunter, Caleb Banks from Florida, McDonald from Ohio State, and even guys in the later rounds like Dominique Orange from Iowa State. I think that I think they'll still be, and one more guy. Why not just name it for the secondary cornerback? Moore from Florida. I forget his first name. It's off the tip of my tongue. I think it's DJ. No, not DJ. I think it's like Devin Moore from Florida. I think those are guys that can definitely still be kind of cheaper impact players that you can bring in from college, and I think that they'll be able to shore up a lot of ends on the defense. But I do agree they need to, it's time to get stepping in and bring in some defensive studs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the other underrated thing about this whole trade, too, for the Bears side of it as well, is that they were able to manage to get rid of their, if you will, third wheel, if you will, in their rotation that they had for a second-round pick. So I think it's a win. I think if there's a chance in football where everybody wins, I kind of feel like this trade actually really fits both teams really, really well, I think. And I think that DJ Moore is still that level of talent. I mean, hell, he was putting over 1,000-yard years in Carolina, and then now you're going to give him Josh Allen. Sky's the limit, I think, for this kid. I think he's finally going to have the best quarterback that he's had and have not that much of a pecking order to go through.